Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. Apple baking season is here, my favorite time of the year, and today we'll be making some apple pie and cream cheese buns, also known as vatrushka buns. And I have the classic recipe in my cookbook Beyond Borscht, but today we're going to switch things up and add some apple pie filling on top. We're going to start with a soft dough. We'll make a cream cheese filling, add the apple pie filling, top everything with the streusel topping, and bake these until they're golden brown on the outside. The aroma is mouth-watering and the flavors are incredible. I just love the cream cheese with the apple pie filling, and these buns are so soft and fluffy and so delicious. I think they're perfect for fall. Head on down into that video description box for all the recipe details up on my website, including this recipe with metric measurements. And now let me show you how to make some delicious apple pie treats. Let's get things started with the dough. We'll need 1.5 cups of warm milk. Mine is at 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Now today I'm using instant yeast, not conventional or regular yeast, but you can find instructions for both up on my website. We'll add in 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar, 1 large egg, 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 cup of melted unsalted butter, and 1 tablespoon of instant yeast. Whisk this all together until that egg is well beaten. We'll need about 4.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to start adding in gradually at first. You want to make sure you whisk that in really well, and then as the batter thickens, we'll switch over to a spatula. Once the dough pulls together into a ball, I'm going to generously flour my work surface, turn the dough out. I'm going to use a bench scraper, gradually add in the remaining flour, kneading at the same time until you get a smooth and elastic dough. Once the dough forms, you want to continue to knead it for about 4 to 6 minutes until it's really smooth and elastic. And if you have a stand mixer at home with a dough hook, you can absolutely use it for this entire dough process. Next, we'll divide the dough into 12 equal pieces, and I typically just use a bench scraper for this. It's an excellent tool for portioning the dough. And then we'll shape each piece of dough into a little bun. Transfer the buns onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Make sure to space these evenly apart and leave plenty of space in between. I'm actually going to do 2 sheets with 6 buns each. And then gently flatten each bun out into a little disc. And now we need to let our dough proof. I'm going to place both baking sheets into a warm corner of my kitchen, let them proof for about an hour until they're fluffy and doubled up in size. Meanwhile, we're going to work on our apple pie filling, our cream cheese filling, and our streusel topping, all of which we're going to add once this dough has proofed. For the apple pie filling, we're going to start with 6 cups of diced peeled apples. Make sure to peel them first, dice them into small little bits. We're going to drop them into a little saute pan. Add 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And this is optional, but I personally love nutmeg in my apple pie, so we're going to grate in a little bit of fresh nutmeg. Pour in about 1/3 cup of water. Mix this all together. And we're going to cook this over medium-high heat, bringing the apples up to a simmer. And I like to cover with a lid to cook the apples faster. Cook the apples for about 10 to 15 minutes until they're really soft and tender. And then we're going to add in a cornstarch slurry to thicken all those juices. So I have 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch with a couple tablespoons of water. Give this a mix and cook it just until all those juices are nicely thickened and it becomes almost like apples in a caramel sauce. This is going to be the perfect topping for our buns. For our cream cheese filling, we're going to start with 16 ounces of softened cream cheese. I'm just going to beat it all by itself for a couple minutes until it's creamy and smooth. Add 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and about 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, just a little pinch. And we'll cream this all together. To make it super easy to fill our buns with this cream cheese mixture, I'm going to transfer it into a pastry bag. And I just prop mine up into a measuring cup so it makes this process really easy. For our streusel topping, we're going to combine 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour with 1/2 cup of white granulated sugar. And I have 1/4 cup of unsalted butter that's really cold. So I've kept this in the refrigerator. I'm going to use my cheese grater and just grate that into this flour and sugar mixture. And you want to just kind of toss that all together. So you have like a crumbly butter and flour combination here. And then to bring all the dry ingredients together, I'm going to pour in a tablespoon of cream. I'm going to just add a little bit at a time because you don't want to add too much liquid. You still want this to be crumbly. My buns have proofed nicely and now it's time to fill them. I'm going to use the bottom of a small jar. You could use a little glass, and we're going to make little wells for the fillings in the center. Next, use a pastry brush to apply egg wash all over the surface here, and this will give the buns a really beautiful golden finish while they're baking. Time to add our fillings. We're going to start with the cream cheese. I'm going to pipe a nice generous amount into the center of each bun. And what I like to do is I go around and fill all the buns first, and then I come back with any leftover cream cheese and add more. Top with that apple pie filling. Oh, this is going to be so delicious. I can't wait to enjoy these. And last, sprinkle on some of that streusel topping. My apple pie cream cheese buns are ready for the oven. I have mine preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. They're going to bake for about 30 to 35 minutes until they're golden brown on top. And then when we come back, we'll dig in to enjoy these most delicious apple pastries. Don't these buns look gorgeous? I just love how they turned out. And after I take them out of the oven, I let them sit for about 20 minutes. Actually, these have been out for about 30 minutes because the filling is going to be super hot. And when you take them out, the cheese is still going to be a little soft and kind of gooey, and that's totally fine. Just bake them until they're golden brown all over, let them set, and then enjoy. Doesn't that look amazing? And that's it for my apple pie cream cheese buns. These turned out amazing and I can't wait to dig in and enjoy. Head on down into that video description box for all the recipe details, including this recipe with metric measurements. And now let's dig in to enjoy. Aren't these just incredible? They're soft, they're fluffy, loads of apple pie, loads of cream cheese on top. Oh, that looks amazing. Let's dig in and enjoy. I am so excited to be sharing this recipe with you because these buns are so incredibly, like ridiculously delicious. The texture of the dough, super soft and fluffy. Then you get that creamy cream cheese and the apple pie filling with a little bit of that streusel. These are so good. I would even double up the recipe because they're gonna be gone in no time. I'm gonna go and bring these over to share with my parents. I'm sure my mom is gonna love these. And actually, these apples that I used for today's recipe are from my mom's orchard. Oh, these are so, so good. This is one of those recipes that I know I'm going to be making again and again this baking season. It's the textures, the flavors. It's one of the most delicious apple pastries ever, and I know you're gonna love it too. Thank you so much for watching my latest episode. I hope you enjoy making these at home and sharing with your family and friends this season, and I'll see you next time with a new recipe.